Imagine watching someone you love slowly forget who you are. 55 million people worldwide suffer from Alzheimer's disease, and there's still no cure. But that's about to change. I've found three stocks racing to solve this devastating disease, from a controversial $2 biotech to an FDA-approved treatment already on the market. One of these could deliver a breakthrough that saves millions of lives and makes early investors incredibly wealthy. Hey everyone, welcome back. I specialize in high-impact biotech opportunities. This isn't financial advice. Do your research. Today, we're diving into the Alzheimer's treatment revolution. Let's go. Before we dive into these Alzheimer's stocks, quick challenge. If this video hits 50 likes, I'll know you want more biotech deep dives like this. So smash that like button right now. Let's hit 50 likes together and support the fight against Alzheimer's. Our first stock is Cassava Sciences, ticker SAVA, trading at just $2.04 per share. Now, I need to be completely upfront with you. Cassava is one of the most controversial biotech stocks in the market, but the risk-reward here is absolutely extraordinary. Cassava Sciences is developing simufilam, an oral drug for Alzheimer's disease that works through a completely different mechanism than other treatments. Instead of targeting amyloid plaques or tau tangles like most Alzheimer's drugs, simufilam aims to restore the normal shape and function of a critical protein called filamin A, which gets misfolded in Alzheimer's patients. Here's what's exciting. Cassava's phase 2 data showed remarkable cognitive improvements in Alzheimer's patients. We're talking about patients actually getting better on cognitive tests, not just slowing decline. If their phase 3 data confirms these results, simufilam could be revolutionary. The company has 2 phase 3 trials currently enrolling patients. These are large, well-controlled studies that, if successful, would support FDA approval. The opportunity market is massive. Effective Alzheimer's treatments could generate $20 to $50 billion in annual revenue. Now, here's the controversy. Cassava has faced allegations from short sellers questioning their data integrity and methodology. The company has defended their science vigorously, and independent analyses have generally supported their position. The FDA is still allowing their trials to continue, which is a positive signal, but the controversy is real and adds significant risk. At $2.04, Cassava has been absolutely hammered. The stock traded over $100 at its peak before the controversy emerged. Current valuation assumes almost complete failure, but if, and this is a massive if, their phase 3 trials succeed and simufilam gets approved, this stock could easily return to $50, $100 or beyond. That's 25x to 50x potential from current levels. This is pure speculation and binary risk. The trials could fail, the controversy could intensify, FDA could put trials on hold. You could lose 100% of your investment. But the potential reward is so enormous that a small position, maybe 3 to 5% of a speculative portfolio, could be justified for aggressive biotech investors. I'm not telling you to buy Cassava. I'm telling you the thesis. If simufilam works, this is potentially the biggest biotech opportunity of the decade. If it doesn't, you lose your investment. Binary risk, massive reward. Position size accordingly. Now let's look at a less controversial but equally innovative approach. Moving to our second stock, Annexon Inc., ticker ANXN, at $6.07. Annexon is taking a completely novel approach to neurodegenerative diseases by targeting the complement system, a part of your immune system that, when overactivated, can damage brain cells. Annexon's lead drug candidate, ANNX005, is a monoclonal antibody that inhibits C1q, the initiating protein in the classical complement pathway. Here's the science simplified. In Alzheimer's and other brain diseases, the complement system gets overactivated and starts attacking healthy synapses, the connections between brain cells. Annexon's drug blocks this destructive process, potentially preserving brain function. What makes this approach compelling is that it's addressing neuroinflammation and immune dysfunction, which are increasingly recognized as critical factors in Alzheimer's progression. This isn't just another amyloid or tau drug, it's a fundamentally different mechanism. Annexon has clinical programs across multiple indications, including Guillain-Barré syndrome, Huntington's disease, and they're exploring Alzheimer's disease. Their platform approach means if the complement inhibition mechanism works in one neurodegenerative disease, it could work in others, multiple shots on goal. The company recently reported positive Phase 2 data in Guillain-Barré syndrome, showing meaningful clinical benefit. This validates their platform and suggests the complement inhibition approach has real therapeutic potential. They're advancing toward pivotal trials. For Alzheimer's specifically, Annexon is in earlier stages, but the scientific rationale is strong. Multiple research studies have shown complement system overactivation in Alzheimer's brains. If Annexon can demonstrate that blocking this process preserves cognition, they could have a breakthrough therapy. At $6.07, Annexon is valued as an early-stage biotech with unproven efficacy in Alzheimer's. The risk is significant. Clinical trials could fail, the mechanism might not translate to clinical benefit, or larger competitors could develop similar approaches. However, if their complement platform works across multiple neurodegenerative diseases, this company could be worth multiples of current valuation. My view, Annexon is a calculated bet on innovative science from credible researchers pursuing a novel mechanism. It's less controversial than Cassava, but still early stage with execution risk. Suitable for biotech investors comfortable with clinical stage risk, seeking exposure to next-generation Alzheimer's approaches. But now, let's talk about the company that actually has an FDA-approved Alzheimer's treatment generating revenue today. And finally, our third stock, and this is critical, Biogen Inc., ticker BIIB, at $164.42. Biogen is the only company of our three with an FDA-approved Alzheimer's treatment actively being prescribed to patients and generating commercial revenue. Biogen, in partnership with eisai, developed and received FDA approval for leqembi, or lecanemab, which is the first Alzheimer's drug demonstrated in rigorous clinical trials to actually slow disease progression. This isn't just treating symptoms, it's modifying the disease course. That's a massive breakthrough. Leqembi targets amyloid plaques in the brain, which are believed to drive Alzheimer's pathology. The clinical trial data showed a 27% slowing of cognitive decline compared to placebo. That might not sound huge, but in Alzheimer's research, it's revolutionary. For the first time, we have clear evidence that removing amyloid can slow the disease. Biogen also has aduhelm, or aduhelm, their first approved Alzheimer's drug, though leqembi has become the focus due to stronger efficacy data and cleaner approval pathway. Both drugs are on the market, giving Biogen commercial Alzheimer's franchise revenue. Beyond Alzheimer's, Biogen has a strong neuroscience portfolio, including leading multiple sclerosis drugs, spinal muscular atrophy treatments, and a growing biosimilars business. They're diversified across neurology, reducing dependence on any single drug. The Alzheimer's market opportunity is absolutely massive. Millions of patients could potentially benefit from disease-modifying treatment. If leqembi achieves broad adoption, it could become a $5 to $10 billion annual drug. Biogen gets significant economics from this revenue. Challenges exist. Leqembi requires regular infusions and monitoring for side effects like brain swelling. Reimbursement took time, but CMS now covers it. Patient identification and diagnosis infrastructure is still developing. Uptake has been slower than Bulls hoped, but is accelerating. At $164.42, Biogen trades at reasonable multiples for a large-cap biopharma with growing Alzheimer's revenue, strong MS franchise, and pipeline optionality. This isn't going to 10x overnight, but it's also not going to zero. This is the low-risk, steady exposure to Alzheimer's treatment commercialization. My price target for Biogen in 2025 is $190 to $210, representing about 15 to 30% upside. But the long-term story is more compelling. If leqembi adoption accelerates globally and their pipeline delivers additional approvals, Biogen could easily be a $250+ stock in 3 to 5 years. For investors who want Alzheimer's exposure but can't stomach the binary risk of clinical-stage biotechs, Biogen is the answer. Real revenue, FDA approval, commercial infrastructure, and continued pipeline development. This should be the anchor of any Alzheimer's portfolio. So there you have it, 3 Alzheimer's stocks representing the complete spectrum of risk and reward. Cassava at $2.04 for massive speculation on controversial but potentially revolutionary science. ANNX at $6.07 for innovative immune system approach with platform potential, and Biogen at $164.42 for FDA-approved, commercially available, revenue-generating Alzheimer's treatment. I want to be completely honest about the emotional weight of this topic. Alzheimer's is devastating. It destroys families, robs people of their memories and dignity, and costs society trillions. The medical need is urgent and heartbreaking. But here's where investment and impact align. The companies that solve Alzheimer's will generate enormous returns for shareholders precisely because the medical need is so massive. This isn't a zero-sum game. Successful Alzheimer's treatments create value for patients, families, healthcare systems, and investors. My allocation recommendation for an Alzheimer's portfolio: 60 to 70% Biogen for low-risk commercial exposure, 20 to 30% ANNX for innovative science with reasonable risk, and 5 to 10% Cassava only if you can afford to lose it completely but want the lottery ticket on a potential miracle. These are long-term holds. Biotech doesn't move in months. It moves on catalysts that can take years. Phase 3 data for Cassava won't read out until 2025-2026. ANNX's pivotal trials are years away. Even Biogen's commercial ramp will take time. Patient capital wins in biotech. So here's my question. Are you willing to take calculated risks on solving one of humanity's most pressing medical challenges? Which approach resonates with you? The controversial speculation with Cassava, the innovative science with ANNX, or the FDA-approved reality with Biogen? Drop a comment and share your thoughts. Did we hit that 50-like goal? If we did, thank you for supporting this important medical topic. If we're close, hit that button now. Subscribe for more biotech deep dives and share this with anyone affected by Alzheimer's or interested in breakthrough medical investing. Remember, biotech is risky. Alzheimer's stocks are particularly volatile, and clinical trials can fail. But the companies that succeed in treating Alzheimer's will change the world and reward their early investors handsomely. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Now go make informed decisions about your Alzheimer's portfolio. Peace.